Welcome to Open Pakistan webinar series. The Open Pakistan webinar series is an initiative of Open Program for Pakistan. The core aim of the program is to provide professional development opportunities to English language teachers and learners across Pakistan through virtual programs including GOCs, open global online courses, MOOCs, massive open online courses, webinar series, and alumni engagements. The program is fully funded by Regional English Language Office, RELO, at the US Embassy, Islamabad. Their local implementing partner in Pakistan is Evolution. So if you wish to stay updated with such opportunities provided by US Embassy Islamabad, then you should like their page on Facebook, that is Relo Pakistan, www.facebook.com/Relo Pakistan. And you should also visit on regular basis the website of Evolution, that is www.evolution.com.pk/eTeacher. The webinar that I'm presenting today, the title is Easy Differentiated Teaching Practices to Develop Critical Thinking in Post-Pandemic Classes. So about the presenter is Sana Abid. She hails from Multan and she holds an MPhil degree in English linguistics with distinction and has a handful experience of 7 years to have taught every age group. Currently, she is teaching at a private university, NCBND Multan. She won the scholarship of eTeacher Global Online course in TESOL methodology by the University of Maryland, Baltimore, USA in summer 2019. She was also selected for Access Teachers Fellowship to USA in 2017 and won the nomination to attend TESOL Convention 2022. She has attended multiple webinar series, various MOOCs, and completed eTeacher mentorship program first as a mentee and then served as a mentor. And she also loves to help the people who are in need. So she, does the continuous social work. So she hopes to build an empathetic and equitable world for all. So without any delay, let's move towards our webinar. This webinar will enable the participants to understand the need of critical thinking in post-pandemic daily education. It would help them master the basic ways to practice differentiated teaching style in classrooms. And they will also learn the easy activities for every age group and every level of learner in ESL classes and beyond. So, first of all, we should know what is critical thinking and why is it important? Because now it is not unknown to anybody that critical thinking became the talk of the town right after the COVID-19, because the COVID-19 changed the whole scenario of education around the world. So, critical thinking is a cognitive process during which an individual goes in the depth of any information, analyze and evaluate it from all possible perspectives by thinking rationally and open-mindedly to reach out to a satisfactory conclusion. Critical thinking enables a person to think about something objectively with a proper reflective thinking by looking at the all possible side, explore the alternatives for one thing, and then reach the conclusion. It's not like that somebody is telling the proper critical thinker something and he is blindly following that. No, he would never blindly follow. Rather, he would develop his own stance. Then we should know the research background of critical thinking that tells us that it is so important. Why is it important? That it says that it is a best reflective thinking focused on deciding what to believe and what not. It examines assumptions. Critical thinking is thinking that is free from biases and prejudices. Yes, this is what I love about critical thinking, that critical thinking actually, makes you outgrow your own negativity, your own perceptions that was once wrong. Because obviously, with the passage of time, everything grows. So once something or someone is growing, they become maybe the right person, maybe the right thing for you. So this is actually, only possible by critical thinking, that you outgrow your own biases and prejudices. It distinguishes fact from opinion. Yes, in 21st century, everything is related to opinion. It is everybody's opinion all around. So to filter the fact is a one lot of job. Critical thinkers imagine and explore alternatives. Yes, this is what we were talking about in the definition, that this is the beauty of critical thinking, that enables the person to look at all possible sides of one particular thing and then develop his own stance. Critical thinking can be learned and taught. Yes, this is one also a potential point of critical thinking, that if you have missed it in your academic career, then it's not late for you. You can develop the habit of critical thinking. You can learn about critical thinking, that how you can have the proper reflective thinking in your daily routine at your own pace at any age. And then you can even teach it. Okay, why in the title I talked about the post-pandemic classes? Because this pandemic has actually, made the situation clear for all of us, that the whole scenario of education that was there in Pakistan was the bogus education system, was actually the system that was teaching everybody like everything related to books. Yes, the bookish knowledge was there, but not the practical knowledge. For that, this pie chart would tell you the COVID-19 crisis in Pakistan, the people's attitude towards this, and obviously after that, it would tell you that what is the reason of this particular attitude of Pakistani people towards COVID-19 crisis. Yes, so 55% of the population that actually participated in the Gallup Pakistan research survey for COVID-19 crisis in Pakistan, 55% of the people said that this is just the ordinary flu. The COVID-19, the coronavirus, is the ordinary flu. Then 30% said that it was just a punishment by God to the white people, to the Western people, not for us. And then the 12% of the people said that it is the Western conspiracy. Yeah, in Urdu, like commonly that you hear the sentence Yehudi Sazish. And then only 3% of the population that participated in that research survey said that they are taking the pandemic seriously. So now this survey is actually something to be sad about, to be worried about, because it tells us that how for granted we take things, the people of Pakistan. And the reason is only the lack of critical thinking in our daily education. Because obviously the people who participated in this research survey were actually also the ones who held the very good degrees, who were from very good background of their professional and the academic one, but still they were to believe like ordinary flu, punishment by God, and the Western conspiracy. So yes, the point that we are raising here is that why the education system has become so bogus and so useless after COVID-19, because it lacked critical thinking. We all know, we all agree that we all human beings are different from each other. We are born different. Then why we are taught one thing in the same method, in the same way, and then we are expected to produce the same results? That is injustice. So for that, today we are talking about differentiated teaching practices. So first of all, we should know what is that. According to Tomlinson, she describes the differentiated instruction as knowing students' individual learning styles and levels of readiness first before designing a lesson plan. See, that this teaching practice, differentiated teaching practice, is all about student. The education becomes student-centered, not that, the traditional teacher-centered education. So researchers prove that it benefits all range of students from lower to higher level. Differentiated instruction may mean teaching the same material to all students using a variety of instructional strategies. So we should know that the teachers who practice differentiation in the classroom, what they can do, they can design a lesson based on students' learning style. Yes, just like the Gardner, the proof with his theory of multiple intelligences, that we all human beings are born different with with different potentials. That then when we are taught according to our own potential, and when we are expected to produce the result according to our own potential, we become more successful than any other person around. So for that, obviously, this is something, comes in the duty of a teacher, that a teacher should consider students and students different learning styles. For that, the teacher can even keep the learner's profile, that okay, if in one class there are 40 students, so let's say among those 40 students, 20 students belong to one particular group, and then 5 students belong to one particular group, and the other 5 and the other 10, they belong to other particular group. So they can even group them in a way that all the students' needs are catered. So group students by shared interest. Yes, this is what I was talking about. Shared interest, shared topic, and the ability for assignments. Look, it is just one-time duty of a teacher to assess the students' different learning style. Once the teacher assess the different learning styles of the students, so the teacher can keep the learner profile. So with that learner profile, it is going to help with the teacher the whole semester, the whole period of that particular academics, and then manage the classroom to create a safe and supportive environment. Yes, this is something so important. This is what that actually, normally we all teachers forget about, that this is our duty to create a proper, safe, and supportive environment where a student feels motivated, where a student's morale is boosted in a way with can-do approach. We should always say to the students that they can do it. They have the potential, that they can do it, that we believe that they can do it. So I believe that once we have this approach, this environment in the class, every single student can perform at the best of his potential. Yes, and the last one is the continually assess and adjust lesson content to meet students' need. It's not like that a teacher is developing the lesson plan one time in the whole academic year and then is not revising. This would again be an injustice with the students. So a teacher should be flexible enough to revise, to adjust the lesson content, lesson plan to meet the student needs. Now we will talk about the 4 easy ways to practice differentiated teaching style in your daily class notes. According to Tomlinson, teachers can differentiate instruction through 4 ways. The first one is content, the second one is process, the third is product, and the fourth one is learning environment. Whatever we have talked about, like Gardner multiple intelligences and, the supportive environment, the teacher's duties, everything is going to come here, but in a systematic, in a proper way. So the first one is content. A teacher can differentiate the content of one particular topic, of one particular subject, by designing activities for students as per Bloom's taxonomy's 6 levels. Now, I know that whenever we talk about critical thinking, the very first thing that pops up in our mind is Bloom's taxonomy. So all 6 levels are remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. Now, if you closely look at these, described levels of Bloom's taxonomy, you would come to know that they are from the very low level to the higher level. They are going from the low side to the higher side of learning. So for that, a teacher can do, for low level learners, a teacher can assign just simply remembering and understanding tasks for one particular activity. For second, the students with some mastery over the subject matter, she can assign, or she or he can assign to apply or analyze one particular set of information or instruction of one activity. Then for higher level learners, a teacher can assign them to evaluate and create something out of that one particular activity of a topic. So for that, yes, the content is given here. The table is given here for the series of activities, that what sort of activities can be opted by a teacher in the class once she's just targeting the content. So yes, the first one is match vocabulary words to definitions. Then we have read a passage of text and answer related questions like the comprehension. Identify an author's position, provide evidence to support this point. Now see, all the activities again are going from the lower level to the higher level of learning. And then the last one can be create a PowerPoint presentation summarizing the lesson. Second one is the process. Each student has a preferred learning style. Yes, just like the Gardner's multiple intelligences say, each student has a preferred learning style, and successful differentiation includes delivering the materials to each style. Just like we have visual learners, the learners who learn by seeing. Then we have the learners, auditory learners, the learners who actually learn by listening. And then kinesthetic learners, the learners who learn by doing. So for that, the chart is given of process of series of activities. The first one is provide textbook for visual and word learners. Allow auditory learners to listen to the audiobooks. I know that this is quite difficult to have all the resources available in your class. But again, like after COVID-19, I don't feel like that anything is difficult for the teachers anymore, because COVID-19 has changed the whole scenario of education around the world. And now we are here with digitalized, everything digitalized learning, digitalized teaching. And for this reason, I call COVID-19 a blessing in disguise, because we were bound to be here on this track of digitalized everything, like digitalized education. And because of COVID-19, we are already here. So again, I know it is quite difficult, but it is not impossible, because once it is just one-time duty. Once you do it, so you are free for the whole year, whole semester. So, yes, so allow auditory learners to listen to the audiobooks. So you can even allow, if you are teaching the higher level classes, so you can even allow mobile devices that they already have in their hand. Give kinesthetic learners the opportunity to complete an interactive assignment online. Now, see, this is something that is for higher level learners. Obviously, kinesthetic learners are the ones who are self-sufficient, who are higher level learners and who can do on their own. The third one is product. The product is what the student creates at the end of the lesson to demonstrate the mastery of the content. This can be in the form of tests, projects, reports, and other activities. I know that these are the things that are already done in our classes, but not in every topic, in every activity they are done. Because once we are keeping these options available in our daily classes, in our daily activities, in our daily topics, so then we are actually targeting multiple intelligences. We are catering the different needs, different learning style of the students, and students would surely learn. For that, students should be encouraged to show their mastery of the concept taught in their own preferred way. Yes, again, I would reinforce the teacher should be flexible enough to have all these options available in the class to have a supportive and safe environment of learning in the classroom. For that, the product chart is given here, where we have the series of activities. The first one is read and write. Learners write a book report. The visual learners create a graphic organizer of the story, like the KWL chart. Auditory learners give an oral report. Kinesthetic learners built a diorama. Diorama is like, the 3D diagram illustrating the story. So again, see, all the series of activities are, continuously they are going from the lower level learners to the higher level learners. And the last one is the learning environment. Yes, this is what I would emphasize on, that this is the duty of us, the educators, the teachers, to provide this learning environment, the safe, the supportive learning environment for our students. For that, the conditions for optimal learning include both physical and psychological elements. The first one, physical elements, they ask us to have flexible layout of classroom, the setting of the furniture to support both individual and the group work. Means the furniture, everything in the class should be set up in a way that if for one activity you have to have individual students, or maybe in the pair or the group work, so that particular furniture can be shifted properly in the given time frame. smoothly. So logical elements are the fine classroom management techniques opted by the teacher for the positive feedback. Yes, that the feedback pattern that I have just talked about, the can do approach, that yes, we all educators and teachers should continuously tell our students that they can do it, that we believe in them, that they can do it, they have the potential, they are right, they are close, one more time. So this is how we are going to have the safe and supportive atmosphere, the motivating atmosphere for the students where they can be the best version of themselves. Yes, so for that, the chart is given for the series of activities for learning environment, and that is again, break some students into reading groups to discuss the assignment. Then the second one is allow students to read individually if preferred. Create quiet spaces where there are no distractions. The distractions are even not acceptable by the teachers. So how can we expect our students to do their best when they have distraction like that? Again and again, you are giving them the feedback, you are pointing out their mistakes, or you are giving them this certain series of instructions. We should make sure that they have the quiet space, the quiet and proper soothing atmosphere where there are no distractions for them and they do well. So the gist of the whole webinar is the critical thinking not only make people responsible for themselves but empathetic for others too. Yes, this is what COVID-19 has also taught us, that life is not about, the education shouldn't be about the individual self, that I or me. Rather, it should be with the collective approach, that we approach, us approach, our approach. And this is the gift of critical thinking, that only a critical thinker can be the one who is not only responsible for himself, but also a responsible citizen, also have the good civic sense, and also take the charge of the responsibility of the whole society at large. So for that, differentiated instructions should be there because they have become the need of today's world. And obviously, the things that we have talked about were just for student-centered atmosphere. For that, students learn the best when they are taught, catering their own learning style. Yes, once students are taught in a way that is familiar to them, so they feel inclusive, they feel like that, yes, they feel they have the feeling of accomplishment. Once they have that sense of achievement, sense of accomplishment, then they become the best version of themselves. So that's all from my side. I hope this webinar will be beneficial for you people in your post-pandemic classes for every age group and every level of English language learner. So if you have any comments and suggestions, do comment below on this YouTube channel under this webinar. And thank you from my side. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. Allah Hafiz.